Right, greetings everybody. It is the never, ever ending tactics week this week. However, I've finally gotten Garusa out of my backlog category of doing videos about him. So, that feels good. But of course, there's just endless tactics stuff to talk about. So that's what we're here today about. But first, a little bit of an update. JP's news has dropped for a Dark Golem raid being held. Now, this, I think, is going to be pretty easy for most players to actually be able to do. I mean, it's a wind weak elemental boss, but it's also just weak to slash, which opens up a lot of possibilities with all the different slash characters that have come out over the last half a year, and probably even before that. This should be incredibly easy to get done. Gold Cactus is the rare boss and will be a fire elemental character. So basically what you're going to be needing for this raid is wind and water and slash and magic. Two major damage types, shouldn't be a problem, but I did want to drop a few extra details about this. First off, for the extra details, you will be getting a new item from this raid called the Black Tortoise Ring, which is an ornament. It is an accessory, so that's interesting. And a Black Tortoise Ring, I wonder what kind of weapon it's going to be, or well, who it's going to really support. Raid equipment's been not bad, historically, so there's a high chance that this will be a good one, or a good piece of equipment to just motivate people to keep playing the game. So yeah. Also, second detail, there will be a bonus to get something called In the Ruins, a new vision card. So we are getting some kind of free vision card, and I know that it's not specifically related to Final Fantasy Tactics, but since it's a raid happening at the same time, close enough. Golem would be in Tactics, it'd be good. I think we should acknowledge that. All right. Moving on, I do want to talk about certain characters. We talked about Agrias as well as Orlando. I think they're doing quite well and have found homes for themselves, but there are a couple characters that we haven't necessarily found homes for yet. Recently I talked about Ramza and how Ramza has kind of some really good synergy going with Fina, especially because of the Time Mage and just being able to lap characters. But I'm going to present a alternate that some people will be happy for, because there clearly are people in the comment sections who are really excited for Ramza's upgrades and are quite pro on Ramza's upgrades. So let's take a look. So Pigeon did some testing this week, and this is basically what was essentially the better looking combo from his video. I mean, I actually don't think that these are unreasonable builds. AC Cloud VC is definitely limited. We have some 90 cost stuff. We have some certain vision cards, but position kind of just depends on who you're going up against, whether, it's setting 1 or setting 2 up here. The big takeaway, though, from this that I've seen is that Ramza himself more than often gets himself killed. Not always. As a matter of fact, Ramza has done some pretty good surviving in certain fights against characters like Shreken, and with the combination of his heals and just damage reduction, he stays in the fight and makes it to the end and survives. But it wasn't a foregone conclusion. A lot of the times he just goes out ahead and in advance of the other characters and gets himself killed. So that is potentially problematic for this setup, for people who are interested in this setup, running this setup. It is strong, it is good. There's no way around it. I think with the DPSs that are currently available in Light and Dark, these are the two that are really going to push this setup further. If kind of a weakness, it is higher cost than Orlando Agrias. And Orlando Agrias I mean, it skirts under by like 20 costs compared to this one. So this wouldn't necessarily be available like this. And I don't know if I would be okay with cutting it. Maybe you cut, I don't know, Cypher for Dina? I don't even know. Depends on the cost, depends on the situation, depends on the meta. But this is an alternate setup, maybe a little bit more obvious one, but I did want to highlight it because I think it was a very strong showing for Ramza. And yeah, that CT boost that he has on Shout is really, really, really powerful for teams. It can be the difference between winning and losing in a big way. So yes, giving an alternative. I'm sure that some people out there will maybe want to try and get Fina into this mix. Maybe there's some other interesting like combinations that people have out there, but bringing this to your attention. Now, there was also testing done with Delita. And Delita, for all intents and purposes, like if we can say at this point that we have found a home for Agrias, if we can say that we found a home for Orlando, and Ramza is, you know, getting in there for finding a home, I would say that Delita is still, the jury is still really out on where Delita should be. Because from what I've seen, he can deal pretty good damage, but is another character that goes out faster sometimes than other characters, and that will get him killed almost always. He is not as survivable. So looking at the videos that I've seen where I see him in combination with another DPS and healer, doesn't really feel that good right now, because it's not enough protection for him. I do think that if you're really interested in making Delita work, it would have to be a tank, not a healer, and that was pretty well supported by this video and a few other videos that I saw. But there was also a little bit extra in this video where currently on JP, fire evasion is a thing. So they put a little bit of evasion stuff, and Delita was kind of able to dodge certain things, but with certain high accuracy characters, didn't really get that far with it. But could be another line that is good for Delita in the near future. Again, we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see if anything becomes of it. But the big takeaway that I've gotten from the last couple of days of checking out some stuff is that Delita just doesn't seem like he is good in combination with DPS and healer. He kind of just needs a tank out front to pull away all attention from him. So that is just a thought for now. We will keep an eye out for any other new material that looks really interesting and whether Delita screams to the top, because I know that there are people interested in that character too. So keep an eye out for more videos from me in the near future as we try and find all of these tactics characters a brand new home. See you later.